Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another EDH request made by one of my fellow commenters. If you want to make one of these, just be the first to comment on this video and type. And when you're commenting, type out the name of the commander you want to see. Just make sure it hasn't already been featured on this channel. So just go watch my other videos first. You don't have to, but I suggest you do because they're pretty good. Leave a like on each of them and this video. Please subscribe. Thank you to the 66 of you who are currently subscribed. I want to keep that number going up because that means a lot to me. Well, you guys mean a lot to me, but the subscriber count isn't what matters. But who knows? If the channel gets big enough, maybe it will. It's really up to you guys, so that's why I encourage you to subscribe. Oh, don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss another one of my videos. And I think that's it. Oh, other than making an EDH request, comment anyways. I like feedback from you guys. It's normally positive and really means something. So with that said, let's get on to this EDH request for Tetsuo Imperial Champion. This is Grixis instants, sorceries, and equipment. This was kind of tricky to build, but then I remembered, oh wait, instants and sorceries include extra combat cards and extra turn cards. And there's also Thousand Year Storm that exists. So what I've done is put together like I've got like 19 equipment in this deck. I just split it even for the second because I built around the second line of decks. This may not get like this may not have structure, but it could probably get you pretty far into a game. And there aren't really many high mana value equipment cards in Magic right now. I mean, there is what's it called? It's the red enchantment that allows you to use your non-equipment artifacts as equipment. Now, if Tetsuo had been designed differently, his abilities have been designed around how much equipment was attached to him. This would have been probably a lot easier, but you can still make a good deck out of this legendary creature from Dominaria United Commander. And yes, we will be getting that too, along with Dominaria United. So with that said, we've got 19 equipment we'll go over, and then we've got 20 instants and sorceries, and then we've got 10 synergies. Runechanter's Pike is in here to buff up our commander because we're going to be casting a bunch of instant and sorcery spells for free with his second ability. So we may have a lot of instant and sorcery cards in our graveyard eventually. Argentum Armor allows us to get rid of something that's annoying us, like Nexusar, a Jace maybe causing a problem, Liliana, any of those planeswalkers or like permanents that can cause problems. Hammer of Nazan just allows us to play our equipment and attach it for free when it enters the battlefield. That way we can spend more mana on more equipment. Embercleave can help us just kill someone off out of nowhere because it has flash. And it gives the equipped creature +1/+1, double strike, and trample. And we can we can cast it during combat because it has flash and it'll become attached to Tetsuo. Almost said Netsuo. Batter Skull for lifelink and vigilance. Cauldra Complete, just because of its high mana value. I mean, 7, that's probably like one of the highest mana values you're going to get for an equipment card. Not to mention, this is a pretty good legendary equipment. It has living weapon, indestructible, and the equipped creature itself gets +5/+5, first strike, trample, indestructible, haste, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a creature, exile that creature. So the equipped creature can get rid of indestructible creatures that our opponents may have. On the Orcus, Tetsuo's power is going to be high with all these artifacts equipped to him. So having Wand of Orcus will allow us to produce a lot of 2/2 Black Summon creature tokens when he happens to hit for combat damage. Bone Horde is kind of the counter against graveyard decks like Green Black Golgari, Mill, Rakdos, Aristocrats, that sort of stuff, by buffing up our commander for each creature card in every graveyard. Basilisk Collar gives our can give our commander Death Touch and Lifelink. So what we can do when we attack with Tetsuo is with Basilisk Collar equipped, we can have him deal damage to any target equal to the highest mana value of an equipment attached to Tetsuo, and whatever damage that would be, it's going to have Death Touch and Lifelink. So we're going to gain life, and we're going to be guaranteed to kill a creature. So useful utility there. Loxodon Warhammer for trample and lifelink. Conqueror's Flail allows us to get in safely for combat, protects us and our commander a lot more because of its second line of text. So Conqueror's Flail, good recommendation, but you don't have to have it. Whisper Steel Dagger is again for graveyard players and gives us more utility in case we need another plan. Helm of the Host. This will allow us to get multiple Tetsuo triggers, therefore multiple instants and sorceries out of our hand for free when those Tetsuos attack. Those Tetsuo copies, I should say. Shadow Spear, just to get rid of hexproof and indestructible on our opponent's side. Sword of Vengeance is in here for first strike, vigilance, trample, and haste. Masterwork of Ingenuity to copy something. So copy Helm of the Host or Cauldron Complete. Meteoric Mace, because of Cascade, allows us to cast something else. Blazing Sunsteel, if our opponent is playing like a fight spell deck, so they use a fight spell on our commander in an attempt to get rid of it, then our commander, being dealt damage, will deal that much damage to any target of our choice, so we can kind of balance that off if Tetsuo survives. If he doesn't, oh well. We're still going to be able to deal damage to something, whether that's our opponent or a creature they have. Sword of Hearth and Home, just for land drops, and in case someone steals something from us. Also because of protection from green and white, because those are the colors we are not playing. Mystical Tutor is in here just to get us a better instant and or sorcery card. I should I should say, instant or sorcery card, whichever you choose. For next time when we attack with Tetsuo, like Rise from the Tides, which can create us a whole bunch of zombies. One with the machine, which can draw us a bunch of cards. Ghastly Conscription, for Graveyard Hate, and we'll be able to use all the cards we exile because they're creature cards, and eventually we'll be able to turn them face up so that we can use them. Here's what I thought about extra combat and extra turns. So seize the day for additional combat, and as flashback, so we can cast this from our graveyard. Relentless Assault. And the nice thing about these two, at least, is that they're only 4 mana. So pretty easy to run these in the deck and reliably be able to cast them with Tetsuo's second ability when he attacks. Because there's a lot of equipment out there that have a mana value of 4 at least. But yeah, Seize the Day and Relentless Assault for additional combat. Turnabout can untap all of our lands, or we can tap all of someone's creatures. Savage Beating. Don't think we can cast for Entwine. I don't think we can pay the Entwine cost, maybe, but if we can, that's suddenly all of our creatures gain double strike, and we get an additional combat phase. Herkyle's Recall. In case we're going against an artifact deck. Rakdos Chime. This really is like a hard counter to green-white players or token maker decks because of the third option, and it has Graveyard Hate on it and can destroy an artifact if need be, but mainly in here because of the third option as a hardcore counter towards mostly green-white decks or any token maker, really. Soul's Fire. We'll be having Tetsuo deal the damage because he's going to be the one with all the equipment on him. Invoke Calamity to double up on at least 2 of our instant and or sorcerer spells that may be in our graveyard or in our hand with total mana value 6 or less. So you can cast one instant that's instant and or sorcery that is as expensive as 3 mana. Not bad. Volcanic Torrent is in here because of Cascade and because it can be a good board wipe if we cast enough spells. Haitsugu's Second Right can just kill someone because you'll see in a moment. Immolating Gyre is in here because it can do a bunch of damage to each creature and each planeswalker we don't control. We're excess the number of instant sorcery cards in our graveyard, and there will eventually be a lot. But Haitsugu's Second Right goes in combination with Soren's Vengeance. If we cast these both within a turn in the right order, we can just end up killing someone if they're low enough. But Soren's Vengeance on its own is just in here to keep us around the game and really hurt one of our opponents by taking a good chunk off of their life total. Excuse me. Cezanne's Will is in here in case one of our opponents has like a really big and problematic creature for us, or if multiple people do, then we can force each opponent of ours to sacrifice a creature they control with the greatest power, and then we can make a bunch of tokens, a bunch of 0-1 chump blockers with the second option if we're able to choose both, because we will have our commander out. And then Nexus of Fate. Take an extra turn after this one, and if it would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, it's just shuffled into our library instead of just staying there. So eventually we'll get another extra turn out of Nexus of Fate if someone doesn't exile it. Time Warp, just take an extra turn. Part the Water Veil, take another extra turn. Then we got our synergies. Metal Jiric Summons can make nice big colorless construct creatures. And it can get us back all of our instant and sorcery cards from our graveyard. Charmbreaker Devils can do the same thing, and it gets buffed up whenever we cast either an instant or a sorcery spell. The Magic Mirror is cheaper for each instant and or sorcery card in our graveyard, gives us no maximum hand size, and draws us an increasingly large amount of cards. Abaddon the Spoiler is a good one because this allows us to really utilize Tetsuo's first ability when he attacks. Because if we just deal damage directly to our opponent's face, then however much damage we have dealt, spells with that exact mana value or less will have Cascade during our turn. Mirage Fury of Akam, just to give us extra comment. 1,000-Year Storm is a good one because if we end up casting multiple spells within a turn, what could end up happening is that we end up casting a Time Warp that causes us to take like 5 extra turns or so. And if we set it up right, we can do it all with Tetsuo and for no mana at all. Murmuring Mystic is just in here for token creation, so we have some chump blockers and some flyers. Swarm Intelligence, double up on our instants and sorcerer spells. Veyron, Voice of Duality, goes greatly in combination with 1,000-Year Storm because it doubles up on our cast triggers. So 1,000-Year Storm is suddenly doing a whole lot more. It'll trigger twice, which could then result in Time Warp being copied like 12 or so times. I don't know. Really depends on how far you're able to go with it. And then we've got Cast Through Time to give our instant and sorcery spells we control rebound. So they are cast for free once they are cast from my hand at the beginning of the next upkeep from my graveyard. Okay. I might have just confused you there, so I'll address it. Rebound. You exile the spell as you cast it, as it resolves if you cast it from your hand. And at the beginning of your next upkeep, you may cast the card from exile without paying its mana cost. Now you get what I'm saying. And we got Spine Rock Null, as we're probably going to be able to deal 7 more damage within a turn. And then we got Isolated Watchtower to make sure we don't fall behind in lands. And then we've got 16 basic swamps, 16 basic mountains, and 16 basic islands. And with that, the end of this EDH request starring Tetsuo, Imperial Champion. If you like this, please leave a like and subscribe. Keep the subscriber count going up. Don't forget to comment. If you're the first comment, you can make an EDH request like the commenter for last episode did for this episode. And as you're making that request, just make sure that that commander has not already been featured on this channel, which is why you should go watch my other videos to find out if it has or has not been featured. And if you want a specific style for that commander, which this is what I kind of forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, I'll address it now. And that is, if you want a specific style, just say so. So like Ramos Artifacts or Ramos Equipment, just type that in with the request, and I will fulfill my end of the bargain. I will not post Monday because that is Labor Day and that's kind of time off, and I get to be with my family. Um, it's not that I'm still living with my family, just to be clear. Uh, but it's nice to get off the screen. Um, oh, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss another one of my videos. And I'm pretty sure that's it. I will see you guys Tuesday.